I supposed to do this the other way? Is that why it looked No, that's definitely not right. I'm Dia Ghoul. Welcome to my channel where we have spooky talks about spooky topics. Today we will be covering clowns and Halloween. Halloween is the best time of year, and this year I decided to be a clown. Which got me thinking about exactly how clowns have become so ingrained in Halloween culture in recent years. When I was walking through the aisles of Spirit Halloween, I couldn't help but notice the sheer volume of options when it comes to scary clown costumes. However, this wasn't always the case. It can be hard to imagine Halloween without this horror staple, but it had to start somewhere. We'll also be going over my costume and new Halloween clown persona, or clownsona as they call it. But first, the history. From the mime to the jester to the birthday clown, we've always seen clowns as an upbeat form of entertainment. They're meant to induce joy and laughter in the audience. But in today's age, if you hear the word clown, you'll probably think of the vast array of evil and killer clowns portrayed in today's media. Now, all the well-known clowns induce spooks and scares into their audience instead of laughs. We've got Pennywise, we've got Art the Clown, we've got the infamous killer clowns from outer space. The list goes on and on and on. That isn't to say that clown costumes weren't popular for Halloween before. They were. But this was associated with circuses, a popular form of kids' entertainment at the time. A clown costume on Halloween was a lighthearted option, but the spooky side of Halloween was reserved for witches, devils, and other such monsters. I think a really big factor here is that clowns were not considered monsters up until recent history. Modern media, such as Stephen King's It, or Killer Clowns from Outer Space, portray clowns not only in an evil light, but in an inhuman one. Pennywise is an interdimensional being that feeds on children and fear. The killer clowns are bloodthirsty aliens invading the planet. This gives a whole new depth to the concept of the evil clown and gives us so many more reasons to fear them. But the thing is, if the idea of monsters doesn't scare you, the idea of a psycho killer hiding under face paint and frills just might. That's the thing, the evil clown trope hits from both angles, monster and slasher. And not only that, but then you've got real life cases fueling the fear. It really does seem like there was a perfect storm for the evil clown around the 80s and 90s. In the late 70s, so just approaching the 80s, John Wayne Gacy was caught for his crimes. I'm sure you all know who that is, but if you don't, he is the real life killer clown, like the killer clown. Known as Pogo the Clown at children's birthday parties, Gacy had a sinister habit unfolding behind the scenes. He would lure in young men under the guise of a job offer, but instead he would sexually assault and violently murder them. 29 bodies were found in the crawl space of his home, and it was determined that he killed a total of 33 people. In the early 80s, the cult classic Poltergeist was released. This movie featured a possessed clown doll tormenting a little boy. And this was one of the first portrayals of the evil clown. Following soon after, in the mid-80s, Stephen King's It hit the shelves, with its mini-series counterpart being released in 1990. This string of events caused a huge surge in the fear of clowns called coulrophobia. In fact, there are no known recorded statistics of its prevalence before 1980. As we all know, the fear of clowns is very, very common today in both children and adults alike. I have personally known multiple people with a fear of clowns. It's crazy to think about just how much the media can shape people and how they think, and what they fear. But if you've had coulrophobia since before 1980, then you get some major hipster points. The very fabric of how we see clowns today was changed by like a few movies and one serial killer who didn't even kill people in his clown getup. Like, his clown hobby and his killing hobby were two very different things. Totally separate hobbies. When I looked it up, it said that the prevalence of coulrophobia is between 18.6 and 53.5%. That is a huge fucking leap in numbers, so I wouldn't take it too seriously. But it's clear that motherfuckers are scared of clowns. John Wayne Gacy may be the most intense and infamous of real-life killer clown cases, but he is far from the only clown to bring horror to the real world. Back in 1990, there was yet another killer clown case. Honestly, I can't believe this happened more than once. Twice might not be a lot, but wow. Marlene Warren was having breakfast with her son when a clown came to the door with flowers and balloons. Marlene happily accepted these gifts, but this isn't all the clown had in store. Before Marlene knew what was happening, the clown pulled a gun and fatally shot her in the head. It turns out that the killer was her husband's mistress, Sheila Keene, but she wasn't busted until 27 years after the murder. Oh, and also, she was released last year, so that's great. All you people with coulrophobia can sleep well knowing that there's a killer clown on the loose. More recently, in 2016, there was a string of clown sightings spanning all across the United States. Many attributed this to some form of marketing, while others insisted that it was just a viral trend that just so happened to catch on. Still, though, there were people who genuinely feared for the safety of themselves and their loved ones. Though none of these clowns presented any real threat, witnesses just couldn't shake that deeply ingrained fear, seeing the clown getup as a threat in itself. I can't say for sure that the 2016 clown sightings reignited the fear in clowns, but it certainly added fuel to the fire. Personally, I've never been afraid of clowns, but I've always associated clowns with horror. I was a super weird kid, so scary stuff always made me happy. Kinda weird how I like clowns because they're scary. Like, if they were just the stereotypical happy circus clown, I would probably think they're lame as hell. I was also a huge juggalo as a teenager, so I'm well acquainted with face paint, at least. But that's a story for another day. When I chose a clown for my costume this year, I just couldn't settle on your basic nameless clown. And choosing from one of the licensed characters just felt too soulless and basic. So, naturally, I had to come up with my own unique clownsona. If you haven't heard of a clownsona, it's like a fursona, but a little bit less cringe. Just a little bit. To make it simple, it's a clown persona. A character that you create. You don't have to dress up as your clownsona. Some people just draw them, but obviously, I want to go all in. Technically, a clownsona is not the same as an official clown. Real clowns go to clown school. And that is not a joke. That's a real thing. Steve-O went there. Look it up. Everyone's got to start somewhere. And I started by choosing my spooky clown name. After just a little help from ChatGPT, I chose Junkyard Jack. That name is not only unique, but has major creepypasta potential for my clown's backstory. So next, I wrote the backstory. I was very interested in the idea of an undead entity brought to life through legend. The name Junkyard Jack sounds like it came straight out of a campfire story, so I had to take advantage of that in my writing. The first few lines just so happened to rhyme, and I just went with it. It really does suit the vibe of a campfire story, a story passed on through time. I'll admit it's also kind of corny, but I find it fun. Sorry if it's cringe, but here's the story of Junkyard Jack. And if you don't want to hear my shitty story, I'll put a timestamp somewhere so you can skip it, and then you can just hear, the gist of it. One fateful, spooky Halloween night, a young woman died, but a legend was born. Her name has been lost to time, but we'll just call her Little Miss Ray Sunshine. Ray Sunshine, in her clownish Halloween garb, took a shortcut home, a shortcut through the junkyard. Tired of clowning, tired of candy, feeling fulfilled but not quite so dandy, she laid under the stars to take a short rest, dozed off, and soon it was 3 a.m. The witching hour, the devil's hour, the hour of spooks and frights. She jumped awake and knew for her sake she had to get home for the night. A sound, a scrape, metal on metal. She knew she wasn't alone. Looked in the dark and saw an orange spark, puff of smoke chilling her to the bone. "Hey, little lady," the faceless man said. "If you need a place to put down your head, no better place than in my bed." "No way, mister," she spat and turned around. Didn't take long for him to pin her down. She thrashed, she fought, she wished to bite. Then she smashed his head with hers alike. Paint smeared on his faceless face. She ran and soon it was a race. Dashing past piles, ducking through metal, frames of cars looking eerily skeletal. Perhaps it's foreshadowing of her fate, or just an unfortunate time and place. "I'll get you, bitch, don't think I won't." He's gaining and she wished she'd just gone home. This is her chance, might be her only one, as she spies the sanctuary of an open car trunk. Trunk slightly ajar, she is carefully poised. She listens and closely inspects the noise. He's throwing a tantrum like no other, cursing whores as well as their mothers. Smashing windows, shattering glass, he doesn't see her, but still walks past. Holding her breath, how her heart sunk when he slammed his fist on the open car trunk. Her fate was sealed when she heard it latch, but sadly her death didn't come quite as fast. To bones, to dust, she was never found, but little Ray Sunshine still stuck around. It started off as accidents no one could explain, but now you see at the junkyard past 3 on Halloween many men have been maimed. Falls, cuts, decapitation, it was a mystery to all. Newspaper clippings that covered these killings led to local myths to enthrall. Today, kids gather round the old campfire to whisper of Junkyard Jack. Stories steady and dares aplenty. They coax her to come back. So, in case my writing sucks and you missed some key details, I'll quickly explain the gist of the story. A girl named Ray stopped in the junkyard on her way home on Halloween night and fell asleep. She is awoken by a creepy man she doesn't know who makes a move on her and gets angry when she rejects him. Trying to hide from this man, she gets into the trunk of a abandoned car, leaving the trunk door slightly ajar. The man, not knowing that she's in there, slams the trunk and seals her inside. Alone, she slowly dies there and is never found. Her angry spirit lashes out at any man she finds in the junkyard on Halloween night, hoping to one day kill her attacker and release her soul. However, her ghost becomes immortalized under the alias Junkyard Jack, a name given to her by the local children. Because she has been immortalized in this way, her soul can never be set free. Will Junkyard Jack go down in evil clown history? Probably not. But it was still a lot of fun to put this whole thing together, and I can't wait to do the get-up again on Halloween. Best day of the year, and I'll be the best clown around. Hopefully you learned a little something about the history of the Halloween clown too. What are you going to be for Halloween? Did you come up with a persona to fit your costume? Let me know in the comments. With that said, I'm Dia Ghoul, or Junkyard Jack, and I hope you had a spooky time. Like and subscribe if you want. God, this clown nose is fucking gigantic, yo. Like, I don't know if I'm vibing with this big old clown nose. Maybe I'll just paint it on. That's what I did for my concept art or whatever, like my concept makeup run, and it looked way better. I don't know, I was just looking over the footage and I'm like, God damn, you look not just like a clown, but like a fucking crazy person. So, I don't know how I feel about the nose. Let me know, guys. How do you feel about the nose? But, I mean, I think my paint job's pretty good. Simple, but effective. Am I right? Am I right? Am I supposed to do this the other way? Is that why it looked no, that's definitely not right. Alright, enough clowning around.